let's go.
Alright, today I'm going to talk about hardships. What a hardship is the license you can get at age 15, and there's a lot of qualifiers for it. Right now, the only qualifiers you have to be able to get a hardship at 15 is if your parents are handicapped or if they need you to help out financially so you can drive to and from work. And I think that we should be able to get hardships through a distance requirement as well. Back home where I live in a small town, and a lot of us are farmers and ranchers, and we come from ranching families. And we needed to have hardships to be able to go to school and back. And many of us were not allowed to get hardships because the state of Texas didn't think 20 miles from school was far enough. They just assumed we could walk the 10 miles to get to the nearest bus station. And I don't care who you are, that's a long walk in the morning. I think there needs to be a distance requirement and that they need to add on more qualifiers. Hardships are not just because early teens want to grow up fast. They just want to start driving and start doing drags down the road. It's more of a necessity than just joy or happiness. Like I was saying, these country boys and those in the rural communities need these to be able to assist their family in the ranch work and the farm work. And to be able to drive earlier would save the parents money, because then they would not have to, they'd be able to have a ranch hand that they didn't have to pay, or they could pay really cheap. Also, when you live out in the country, it holds a shared risk between wild animals and such. It's nice to know that you have other drivers in case of an emergency, that they can get you to the hospital, because the hospital is not going to be able to find your house when you live out this far. Also, able to drive at an early age provides several benefits for the family, and no matter if you live in the city or in the country. And access to hardships at an early age can increase safety, be more convenient, and it can help out on the money factor. Alright, now we're going to talk about the safety aspects of having a hardship. Alright, it's a matter of safety because, like I said earlier, there are a lot of animals. Between rattlers, cottonmouths, copperheads, and no telling what kind of spiders you're going to encounter having to lift and work out there, you're going to need to get to the hospital if you get bit. Where I live, people won't even know these roads exist in Vernon. And we've called the ambulance before when, like, a hunting accident, and they can't find the house. And so you end up waiting for 20 minutes when you could have already been in town. And so it's essential that if there's only a kid at home and he gets hurt and his dad gets hurt on a hunting accident, he needs to be able to drive into town. He needs to be able to know his way around the truck and be able to drive without the fear of breaking the law or a cop pulling him over. Also, the phone reception is terrible out in the middle of nowhere. It's not good here either, but it's bad in the middle of nowhere, and you're likely not to get hold of a hospital or the police anyhow when an emergency strikes. So it'd be nice to know that you have as many drivers as possible out in your household. I'm going to have a biased opinion, but I think those that grow up in a rural community it's almost like they have to learn responsibility a little earlier in some aspects. We're called upon to drive heavy ranch equipment. We're called upon to get up early and check the fences and the pastures. And if we don't do a good job, cattle get out, we mess up on the tractor and stuff like that. And so I think if you were taught properly, getting a hardship at an early age can be it wouldn't be a hindrance, whatever the word opposite hindrance is. It would be beneficial if you were to receive a hardship at an earlier age. My mom started teaching me to drive when I was 8 years old. I couldn't reach the pedals, so she'd just sit me on her lap and I would steer. And this is when I first started learning how to operate a vehicle. And then when I got home, we'd get on the pasture and she'd just let me have free rein on the 100 acres, just drive around doing donuts, whatever I wanted to. Because then I'd be able to fully understand how the car works, what its limits are, and what I should not do. I got to learn on the fly. And this might seem a little crazy, maybe even a little insane to allow this a young kid driving at this early of an age, but face it, there are no cars out in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing to hit. The only thing you have to look out for are cattle and all that, and you know they run from you when you're going Mach 1 at them, so it's just not a big deal. And now I'm gonna go into the convenience part. Alright, it's a matter of convenience, mainly. Like I have a little sister, she's 13, and she's getting to the age where she wants to hang out with her friends. If you live in the city a lot, you don't realize that when you live out in the country, you don't really get to see your friends a lot. You just get to see them at school. You don't get to hang out with them, and there can be a social gap. And she's already suffering from this, and if she were able to get a hardship earlier and be able to help out on the ranch, she could also be able to hang out with her friends and be able to go to more school activities, and she wouldn't have to miss out just because my parents' work schedules wouldn't allow her to participate. And it could help her out in just in a social aspect. Also, when you get these hardships early, you can take a load off your parents. I was able to start picking my sister up from school. I was able to take her to her recitals and all this whatnot. And it saved my parents gas because they didn't have to make multiple trips to and from Vernon to the ranch. And it just, I mean, it's 40 miles if you go there and back once. And so it saved a lot of money. Also, as I mentioned before, there needs to be more qualifiers. I really do think there needs to be a distance requirement because I had to go to court in order just to get my hardship. I lived 20 miles out of town, 10 miles from the nearest bus station that went to the wrong school. It didn't even go to the school I went to, and I still had to go to court to get my hardship. And not only did I have to go to court, I took the driver's safety test before then, and I passed it, and they still turned me down. And this shouldn't even have been an issue in the first place, and it needs to be edited and fixed. All right, now we're going to go to the economy part. If you were to, let's say you're just going to get on, if you're going to buy a ranch right now, because we all have that much money, we're going to buy a farm and get all this stuff, you're probably going to need an average size tractor. I got on the John Deere website just to see how much these suckers cost. A medium-sized tractor with just your basic front-end loader costs about $112,964. I, for one, do not have that kind of money. And the bottom line is that farming is really expensive. The more ranch hands you have that you do not have to pay, the more money you save, and the cheaper it is, and the more profit you're going to make. You know, a lot of ranches and farmers, I mean, they're very family-oriented. They rely on each other. They rely on the kids and all the extended family to help out.
10 seconds. That's 8 minutes, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Someone argued that you're wasting more gas, but you actually end up saving gas because then you're able to work if you have a hardship. That's good. And in conclusion, by now you know what a hardship is. You know that it can save money, it can increase safety, and it can be convenient for the whole family. And if this is done responsibly, it teaches young boys and girls to thrive, and it benefits the entire family, and it may end up saving a life.